Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of the Mystical Tutors. My name is Astralsflame.
I'm Astralsflame. And over there is Astralsflame.
Say hello,
Thanks for joining
Astralsflame.
me. Thank, thanks for coming to the Astralsflame podcast.
Thanks, everyone. It's a pleasure to be here. But for real, how's everyone doing
Hey guys,
today?
I'm doing okay. I'm doing okay. I drafted a little bit of Baldur's Gate last night. It was pretty fun.
How is the draft experience on that?
I really like it, but it's not for people who like to draft. It's for commander players.
So I might enjoy it.
Correct. I know
Okay,
this sounds weird, but sorry. Go ahead.
no, I was gonna say, is the draft, are the drafting rules the same as Sea Legends 1?
Yeah, where you take two cards.
Yeah.
And this time, I don't know if it was the same as Sea Legends 1 because I didn't really play Sea Legends 1 that much. But for whatever reason you're if you need to, you can just steal someone's faceless one.
Oh, okay, so you don't actually have to draft the Faceless one?
Nope. You could just ask to borrow someone's or proxy it.
Huh.
It literally says on it on the thing, ask someone else for their faceless one to use it.
Yo, that's super nice. I will say, as I was cracking packs this morning before we started, I haven't seen a faithless one in my box. I mean, I have a few packs left, but that's kind of nice they did that because with the Piper, right? You had to draft it.
Right. I think that they probably took because it's really rough, right? Because in Sea Legends 1 with partners, it was anything with a partner is a partner. But this time, you could because you're going to be drafting creatures anyway. Backgrounds may not be something that you actively want to draft.
That makes sense.
If that makes sense,
Yeah.
right? So you may be you know, I'm going to draft X, Y, and Z things, and then it just doesn't work out. So
Okay, so on that background note, right? With your drafting, you're bringing in we've seen partners. There's not really partners in the round this time. There's now backgrounds. We've got all this stuff going on in the command zone now, though, right? What is it?
yeah, it's pretty good at
Partners,
podcasting.
emblem,
It's getting busy. It's getting busy. That's the best way to put it.
How do you both feel about the cluttering of the command zone at this point? Is it too much?
There's no going back. We're already this deep into it,
Yeah.
not to be nihilistic about it or anything, but we're already this far, then if we're already breaking this boundary, we might as well maximize and make the best use out of it rather than be worried about what it could become.
That makes a lot of sense. Yeah.
Yeah.
It feels awkward. You can sit at a table with four people and everybody's got different things in the command zone.
True.
Is there a better way we can identify things, do you think? I'm not gonna say we should have subcategories for the command zone, but should there be a helpful identifiers or something like that? Maybe does the command zone need a different name instead, just to reflect what all the possibilities could be in it?
I don't think so because I still think it's your commander, right? So each one of these puts a spice on your commander, right? Legendary backgrounds is tailoring your commander and modifying your commander, right? So the idea is that if you're playing, I don't know, if you're playing Joe Schmo with the slightly gifted at washing dishes background, right? He that is what the deck is. It's Joe Schmo where he was born with an impactable impact, a huge gift for fitting multiple chocolate pieces in his mouth. That's what Joe Schmo does, right? Versus, Jane who can single-handedly climb a flight of stairs in half the amount of time, right? It allows you to play very similar type decks but completely change up the strategy through backgrounds, right? And I think we talked about this last time. It was all to stop the power creep of partner because partner was getting extremely power crept.
Yeah, that's true. Like partner opens up the variety of what you can do more so, and I I don't know. I haven't experienced much with backgrounds, but seeing what backgrounds are available and what you can put with your commanders that can choose backgrounds, I don't think the levels at the same of partnering, but it does give you a really, like you said, a spice to your commander to switch it up, and it makes your deck a little bit more interesting. Because like you could have, I don't know, the ghost of Ramiro Rodriguez or something who decides to take the bus every day. I don't know. It's a ghost that likes to
The
take the
ghost of
bus.
Ramiro de Pietro.
Yes, the ghost of Romeo de Pietro, who likes to take the bus every day. That's his background. I don't know.
Yeah,
But
as opposed to, the ghost of Ramirez de Pietro who flies on his hover bike to work,
yeah.
you know? Like it's the thing is that I think in my experience from all of this, backgrounds are more or less a flavor thing rather than an impactful game choice. What I mean is that I think the power levels on backgrounds are very medium compared to what partners can do,
Yeah, yeah. The,
right?
the, the,
Because
the
Mhm.
fact that you're locked into monocolor helps a lot.
Well, I think the thing is that back in partners, right? So let me explain it this way, right? In choose a background in Baldur's Gate 2, you know what the main commander is and you know what the sub commander is.
Yes.
Versus with partners where they're each trying to be the main commander. Does that make sense?
Yeah, yeah,
Oh,
it does.
it does
So
unless you build a deck like me.
right. Where you're clearly playing this commander and the other commanders for the colors,
Yep.
right? Like
It's in
so
your
for
deck.
example, right? So if you have like, you know, um, Jenny who skips the bus on Tuesdays, right? Jenny may be your commander, and it's like every third card you draw costs 0, right?
Hmm.
But who likes to take the bus on Tuesdays or whatever I said, right? Um, that's a characteristic to lean the deck towards. So a good example of this, there are some fantastic ones that that they were like, wow, these are cool synergies. We can put them together. Like the Black Snake Shaman that taps to mill you and then return a card to your hand, right? And then
Yeah,
the squirrel background that makes it so that every time a creature goes to the graveyard, you make 2 squirrels.
Yeah.
wait, that's a
Those were
background.
clearly made with each other in mind.
Wait, there's a background that lets you make squirrels.
It's
Yeah,
wild.
it's really cool. Also the fact I don't know if you guys
Interesting.
feel about look at or feel like this at all, but like I feel like the backgrounds themselves were not designed with strength as the rarity in mind versus how often they want them to come up in draft.
Yes, I would agree with that. Like opening a box, I will say I found certain ones came up more often than others. Maybe that's just the
Well,
printing thing, but
n-
yeah, it doesn't feel
that
like rarity played in mind. It was
well
not
that's not
thematic, but
exactly what I mean. What I mean is that I feel like this was balanced more for a drafting experience rather than balanced for balancing's sake,
yeah,
right? So
that's
Yeah.
fair.
Yeah.
like the whole idea is that we have rares. The whole reasons we have mythic rares in the first place is mythic rarity was supposed to make it so that cards only came up once every few pulls, right?
Right.
So like it was for the drafters. Like mythics didn't exist until Lorwyn.
No, it was after
Was
It
it?
Lorwyn.
was shards, I think.
Yeah,
Was it
Shards was the
shards?
first.
Okay, well close enough, right? Like I was pretty close on that.
Yeah, yeah,
Uh, Lorwyn was the creation of the planeswalkers.
yes.
Right, that's where I thought they introduced. All right, it doesn't matter either way. Shards introducing Mythic, right, was to help the whole was to help the fact that you know the rare pool was so open and diverse, and then you could get something in a rare slot multiple times in a draft pool. because it's printed in the same slot,
Yeah.
right? So the idea is that by limiting the amount of mythics that are in a pool, you could say, okay, well now we have this whole other power level of cards that we feel like doesn't deserve to be in a draft pool.
Well, they're
And
also
also
supposed to
it
be
makes
your
it harder to
lore-based stuff, not your power-based stuff.
right. Right.
But that went out the window when they put Lotus Cobra there.
I know, right? Crazy. But yeah, I mean that's about it. I don't know. I just feel like the backgrounds are more balanced for a draft than anything else cuz like, you pull a rare background and you're like, "Wow, this is really bad compared to the Feywild's background."
Yeah, that's
Right?
true. Yeah, I would
Like
agree. The balancing of what was made a rare versus what wasn't a rare in terms of background, yeah, that is a bit off. But I
like
would say though they are definitely thematic. They do fit in that kind of nice, interesting way to really augment a deck.
like for example, right? Like Noble Heritage, right? Um Like Noble Heritage is when this creature enters the battlefield at the beginning of your upkeep, each player may put 2+++1/+1 counters on a creature they control. For
Mhm.
each opponent, you gain protection from that player until your next turn is a rare background, right?
Right.
Which is pretty good.
Mhm.
But like, I don't know if it's as good as like, like the Feywilds one, which I bring up a lot because that one's very good. Or like Dragon. Well, I guess Dragon Cultist's mana cost is a little bit higher, right?
Yeah,
So
that
I
one's a
don't know.
little bit up, but yeah.
I mean, I
Oh,
think backgrounds are cool. I think backgrounds allow you to make a very unique deck that you didn't think you'd make at the time.
I'm looking forward to playing with Tavern Brawler.
That one do.
Yeah.
The one that exiles to pump your creature and you can cast a spell.
Oh, yeah. Or was that the yeah, because you were talking about partnering that with Wilson, right?
Yes.
Bears on Fire.
Yeah, that's pretty good. Well, he was supposed to be refined, Roscoe, so a flavor fail.
Was
Like,
what?
come on.
Sorry?
Wilson's a refined grizzly,
Oh,
and you're
yes.
making him a tavern brawler.
Yep.
That's a flavor fail.
Is it though? You're talking to a man that once played D&D with a sorcerer with a great axe.
Sure strikes a good spell.
Yeah, I guess. I
Yes.
guess. Um, but like overall, I'm excited. Like I'm excited for the pre-con list, and I think it's gonna be. I think the pre-cons are gonna do a lot because they printed some powerful stuff in there.
Yeah, because what we
And
got Jessica's Will reprint.
Mhm.
There was a couple others too, like some decently sized, like $6 and up cards that needed a good
Gold
reprint
Clamp.
back. Yeah, Skull. That's true. Yeah.
So I think overall, I think this is I know a lot of people are medium on Baldur's Gate. I think the set is introduces a lot of stuff for Commander to make it good without destroying the format. Not every set needs to be format warping. If
Yeah,
that
I'd
makes
agree with that. Like it's I will say like opening the cards, I didn't see anything that struck me out as like this is absolutely broken, but I was like looking at some of the stuff like there was an 8 mana card that lets you look at the top X card to your library equal to the highest mana value of a commander you own in the command zone or in play, and you just get to put all permanents into play. And it was like this doesn't seem broken, but this seems super fun.
Mhm.
Like I think that it's like you said, this isn't a format warping set, but it is a very good flavor set that adds a lot of really cool stuff to make the format more vibrant.
And like um not everything needs to have like a jeweled lotus in it. Not everything needs to have dockside extortionist. You can have good enough cards, right? Like, this set is definitely going to be one of those that is going to change up commander and give people a bunch more options without breaking the meta in half.
Yeah, I
Right?
definitely
There's
would agree with
there's
that.
no must-have cards from this set, and I think that's okay. Honestly, I would prefer commander to have less must-have cards
Right,
from
like
sets.
the more must have cards you have, the more homogenized the overall format becomes because suddenly everything's a staple, and then what would be your 100 card variant is like cut down to 70, 60, 50, depending on the staples. I mean, I wouldn't even say the 100 right now. I'd probably say the 98, the 97, because Soul Ring, Arcane Signet, Command Tower.
Soul Ring's not required.
I know, but you know what I mean.
Unironically, sometimes there are decks that don't want to run Soul Ring or Mana Crypt.
Yeah, yeah.
But we'll talk. We could talk about that another time.
Maybe that's the next episode.
Yeah. Yeah. There you go.
I'll
You
be
found
the
your
judge
topic.
of that.
I get it
because
because
you
you're
are
a
the
judge.
judge.
Yeah. No. I think we're in a very like okay spot commander wise. Like I think I want more sets like this. I want more stuff that's like. I hate to say it. I want more sets that are medium.
Yeah.
Yep. I think a lot more
Like-
medium sets would help everything overall and bring if we could pull, even going into standard, pull the power creep down a bit. It's gonna hurt sales for a moment, but it's gonna help the format.
Yep.
So much.
Yeah, the longevity of the game.
Right, like short-term loss of sales into longevity of the game for more.
Mhm.
Because by the time, like especially in standard, when things rotate out that are too strong, the medium stuff is in and it sticks around. Like what Void? When we were jamming some standard stuff a while back. You saw me in my Mardu mid-range list. I was playing Venture. Venture is a mechanic we don't see in standard because at the time when it came out with AFR, it was underwhelming. But now in the meta, it fits in nicely.
It's okay. It's not great, but it's
Yeah.
okay.
No, I agree. But like, it fits in better. It actually is. It has some impact.
Yeah, I mean, it's a little bit different when you have stuff like Alchemy, where they actually pump the power level of it a little bit.
Right.
I don't know. I just think that leaning on the gas for this type of stuff helps with sales, but like you're gonna get like these homogenized formats like we talked about before, right? Like the problem is that for every like one or two powerful sets that rotates, they just introduce one or two more powerful sets.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
and
true.
it's real bad for us in the long run.
Well, especially in a format with Commander where everything is pretty much legal, save for our ban list, but we're a non-rotating format. So the more powerful stuff is introduced, we're not going to have a rotation that sees it gone. It's always going to be there. So the more damaging it could be if stuff is too broken or just more functional reprints of something that already exists.
But just because something is powerful in one format doesn't mean it's going to be powerful in another format.
Yeah.
You remember how powerful whatchamacallit was? Shoot. The one with God, my brain is melting. I apologize.
No worries.
What's the shit, not Kaldheim, the one before it.
Oko?
No, yeah, Oko and stuff like that, right?
Yeah.
Like we don't see those cards in Commander, like stuff from that type of stuff. Like stuff from those sets. You
Yeah.
don't see them as much. You don't really see Brazen Borrower in a set. You don't see adventure stuff in Commander.
No, that's true. I mean, or like Fires of Invention.
Actually, that's one that I wish people would play more. Fires of Inventions is gas in Commander.
That's true, and it's pretty sweet as a spell.
Mhm.
But yeah, we just don't see that kind of stuff.
I don't know. I feel like the more and more that we try to, work with this stuff, the more and more that I don't know. I feel like stuff that is getting printed that impacts Commander the most, I feel like is through supplementary products, right? So like, whether it be through like a starter deck, right? Or, any of these other decks, right? Like it's usually stuff that's not printed for a standard set, right? It's printed to get sales of like, beginner decks or structure decks or whatever.
Definitely agree.
You know.
Awesome. Well, I'd say overall, like, I think we've all agreed. Baldur's Gate felt good. Having backgrounds in the command zone, pretty sweet. Things are a little cluttered, but it does add some interesting spice.
It does give me one goal in this game, and that is to animate a background and kill you with commander damage.
That is true. I
Right,
think that's
because
a
it's
good
your
idea.
commander tech.
Yes, technically it is.
If it's alive, it counts as a
Yeah,
commander
all you got to
creature.
do is
Oh my
animate a
God.
raised by giants, and then it'll become a
10 by
10.
10?
Like, I don't understand. You know, it seems easy.
Oh. Oh. It's not even
What's
that
wrong?
bad because you can do like dance with the mace and well, no, I guess you can't because there's no 3-color. Where's that background? But there's ways to, yeah. Good lord. Oh no. Okay, well, before we come up with more shenanigans that are going to happen.
So, actually, sorry, more specifically, if you animate a raised by giants, it's probably going to be a 16/16.
Oh yeah,
Oh.
Most things that animate will animate based off its CMC.
Right. Good goodness.
so
Jeez.
your background would be a background, which would be a background, which would be a background.
In the background. In the background. Okay. Well, before we start discovering our backgrounds, Void, where can the people find you?
Guys, you can find me at twitch.tv/Voiden, where I stream Tuesday, Thursdays, Sundays. You can also find me on Twitter at Voiden, VOIDDYN.
Awesome. Alpaca?
Twitch.tv/the Alpaca Tyrant. I'm trying to become more active still. I'm working on that. On Twitter at Rosca.
The names will never be concise.
I actually have the Alpaca Tyrant Twitter. I just haven't started using it yet.
You should start using it. Really should. Everyone, you can find me at Twitch, Twitter, TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube at Astralsflame. I'm doing the Arena and the Commander thing. Friends, we are your Mystical Tutors. We'll catch you in next week.